Hello everybody out there, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review. And guys, we got lots of great books for you guys this week. We got the third week of Convergence, we got a nice amount of Marvel books, and again, apologies that this is a bit late. We've had a really busy schedule this past week. Hopefully, at least for the last week of the month, for week 4 of Convergence, things will be a little bit lighter, and we'll be on time, or at least only one day late instead of all the way at the end of the week. And as always, the books that we'll be reviewing in this episode were released on
April 22nd, 2015.
Third week of April.
Yep.
And guys, the first book actually is a digital book, so unfortunately Mike's going to have to stand up. And while he goes over there and shows you guys the cover and some artwork from the book is Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men, the Black Vortex, Omega. That was a mouthful. Black Vortex, Omega. Kitty Pryde accepts the power from the Black Vortex, and basically using her abilities, her phasing cosmic abilities, now she's able to save Spartax, and we get a really nice, without spoiling too much, because even though it's a week late, I don't want to spoil too much, we get a really nice conclusion, but an open-ended conclusion where, and we're going to go into the books in a second, where Guardians of the Galaxy continues forward from a Black Vortex, and so do the all-new X-Men. But Kitty Pryde and a few other characters end up keeping their cosmic powers. Kitty does, Angel does, and Gamora does. I think the others all relinquish their powers. So one or two others, I believe, also keep their powers. But anyway, it ends with this is a bit of a spoiler alert, with Peter proposing to Kitty, and it kind of leaves off there. Like, there's a little bit more into it. I don't want to give too much away, but this is an excellent book. Definitely worth the $5. I have to agree with Mike Spider-Slayer. This was an under-the-radar event that was honestly one of the best events Marvel's done in a very long time. And picking right up from there, I started with this book. I like this book more. I'm really not putting them in any like or dislike order. I'm doing Marvel and DC like I always do with the reviews. But Guardians of the Galaxy 26 continues the story with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And Pete is now president of Spartax. He is the new leader, and he's always been against the Authority. Now he is basically part of the Authority, and he's having a hard time accepting it. And now Kitty is engaged to him, or thinking about being, married to him. And Pete's now, debating whether he wants to be Spartax's leader or not. And you get to see all the Guardians being pampered because, he's now royalty. So you've got Groot in the gardens, you got Gamora meditating, Rocket's getting pampered, and you got Drax who's just beating the crap out of soldiers. And then the ending, to me, now I have to agree with Mike Spider-Slayer. It looks like the Incursion. Looks like the Incursion's happening at the end. But there's another issue of Guardians of the Galaxy, so I don't know yet, but this is a really nice follow-up to Black Vortex. With all new X-Men, however, and all new X-Men 40, it was a good follow-up. However, I feel like, and everybody knows by now, that Jean went into Bobby's head and found out that young Bobby is gay. And apparently old Bobby somehow suppressed it enough that he actually turned straight. I don't know. But I feel like that scene, because you have the scene with all the X-Men being happy they're back on Earth, and you see that Angel and X-23 have that little thing going on. But then out of nowhere, it feels like this section was just thrown into the middle of the book, and it took up a nice amount of pages, where Jean is literally forcing Bobby to admit that he's gay. And he actually wonders if Angel's gay, and Jean's like, no. Honestly, it felt like a forced situation. It took me a bit out of the book. However, what brought me back into the book was the Angel and X-23 moment at the end of the book. I really liked that, and it brought me back into the book after the Bobby scene pulled me out of the book. And then we go to Utopia, and that's where the book is going to be continued in the next issue. I'm not going to say who they saw at Utopia or anything, but this book is the first book ever that I got taken out, and I was going to really not like it, but then I was brought back in by the second part of the book.
So that's good.
So the Bobby thing, I don't like it. I feel like it was forced or just something to throw in there to kind of
why are they changing
do a
these
shock.
characters?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I didn't like it. That was the one thing I did not like about this book. It felt like it was forced, and it's changing a character that we've known for 70-ish years. And
Since
again,
Spider-Man is amazing.
it brings a negative message about gays. If you really look into it, watch Frontline Live. We talked about it this past Tuesday and the previous Tuesday. We talked about it twice. I'm not going to sit here on this review and basically echo what we've said twice on 2 live shows, but I got to agree, and Jay actually pointed it out the best, and I have to agree. Next book is yours.
Yep.
I read it too. I thought this was excellent, but Mike, you did a review
This
for
is
it.
The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 17.1. This is Spyro Part 2. And basically, to sum up the whole part of the book, it's really, about... Well, the whole investigation is still going on with Tombstone, but we start off where Hammerhead's talking with the Goblin King, is it?
Yeah, or Hobgoblin.
Or
Goblin Knight, you mean.
Yeah, Goblin Knight, yeah. I don't remember who's Goblin this, Goblin that.
Nice artwork.
Yeah, there is nice artwork. I'll show you, like this one right here. Really amazing artwork, and there's fight scene going on there. So yeah, then we have, I can't remember what her name is.
Jean DeWolf, was it?
Yeah, I think it was Jean. Where she's doing all this investigation, and he's talking with Spider-Man, and he's trying to help her, like saying, about, I know what it's like to lose someone because of when Spider-Man lost his Uncle Ben, and what happened with Gwen, and things just take time. And I really like that communication they had. And then we have Hammerhead, who has this like a ring where he goes to destroy people, like a wrestling match or something like that, to face off against the Goblin King, actually. Then Spider-Man Wrath interfere, and Spider-Man just knocks him out. And well, let's just say that there might be a little bit of thing who's behind this, of all the pictures and whatnot, because we all know Mr. Negative gave Wrath the pictures, but there might be more to Mr. Negative than we actually thought. That's all I'm going to say about that book.
Alright, the last Marvel book before we go into Convergence is Star Wars, issue number 4. This was a great book. Luke is second-guessing himself. He's not the Jedi he wants to be. You've got Darth Vader with Jabba the Hutt trying to send out bounty hunters for Luke to find Luke and bring him back to him. And you also have another bounty hunter looking for Han Solo, and you get to see Greedo's family or friends in this, and I thought that was really cool. The mention of Greedo, because he was like one of those characters that was in and out in the 4th episode, and we don't know who this person is looking for Han Solo, but at the end we actually do get to see Boba Fett also looking for the same person, and I don't know. It was a really good issue, and then you have Luke that actually leaves the rebellion because he needs to go back to Tatooine. He needs to, figure out how he can be the best Jedi that he can be. And I like that, we were introduced to Star Wars, and this is between episode 4 and 5, where Luke just found out that he has the Force, and he is so raw at being a Jedi that he's not like what we saw in episode 5, and especially in episode 6. So he's just coming into becoming a Jedi. He's coming into his talents and using a lightsaber. And he basically got his butt handed to him by Darth Vader. His father's dead. Obi-Wan Kenobi's dead. Both, in his mind right now, were by Darth Vader's hands. So he wants to be... And he wasn't able to defeat Darth Vader. He wants to be able to be strong enough to defeat Darth Vader and save the galaxy. And he's just not at that point yet. And you really can read the frustration in Luke right now, and I really like that in this issue. It's a really good issue. Star Wars has been doing excellent. I've been really loving the Star Wars book. We're in Convergence now, and we got a lot of Convergence. And
this is week 3 of
Week 3. We're starting with Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes, issue number 1. I did not particularly like the artwork in this book. It was definitely one of the weaker of the week. However, the story, you have Superboy, who was in Metropolis during, the Legion's era, and that's when the dome fell. And he's been stuck there for a year. And he is the person that the Dome City, that Metropolis looks to. and he's giving this really great speech at the beginning of the book, you know, keeping hope alive for the people that, you know, the Legion is working on ways to get out of the dome, everything's going to be fine, you know, and keeping order within the city. And then once the video goes up, you see that he's, you know, he doesn't even believe what he's saying. He's kind of wanting to get, you know, now he's not only a million years in the future, but he's also possibly on a different planet, in a different dimension, so he's even further from home. And I don't want to say he's whiny, but he's kind of just like, he's not, you know, he's a little bit taken out of character. And then you got Brainiac, who, well, Brainiac 5 is always Brainiac 5. He thinks he's smarter than everybody. And then, of course, you know, the dome finally, we get a little bit of background with Lightning Lass also, but then the dome finally falls, and now the Legion's left trying to figure out what to do next. And that's when, and Superboy now, he doesn't want to fight. They all know that they have to fight, and they want to figure out an alternate way. However, they get attacked at the last page of the issue, and that leads into, obviously, issue 2. I don't know. The issue, I liked it, but it wasn't something. It was definitely one of my least favorite Convergence books. It was a good book, but nothing that was really too, oh my god, amazing, for me at least.
Alright, Convergence Swamp Thing issue number 1. Just like this book, not good artwork from what I saw, but the story was pretty good, but not like the best book, basically. It basically, you know, talks about, you know, how he became the Swamp Thing. I mean, look at this artwork. I mean, that doesn't even look like Swamp Thing. It looks like...
Well, Hulk. You know, remember, they're trying to embody the artwork from that era.
Right, I understand that.
So that does look a lot like the artwork from Swamp Thing's first volume.
Well, I never read New 52 Swamp Thing. That's probably why.
Right.
But yeah, it just talks about just a whole story of Swamp Thing, and then his connection to Green has been... not been going so well.
It's been severed for the past year under the dome.
Right, under the dome. And he wants to go see Batman about why there's the red skies and everything. So, since that happened, he's just been, I guess, it looks like molting, actually. You know, like just dying like a regular plant, where his girlfriend Abby gets him like all these fertilizers and stuff like that to, you know, keep him alive and everything. And then when that message comes along, he has connection to the Green Wave, feels like himself again, but then runs into some trouble with all these demonic things that are coming at him, for both him and Abby. So yeah, things are getting a little bit dicey, but I'll get the next issue since we are getting issues 1 and 2, just see how it ends. But yeah, that's all I have to say for that.
The New Teen Titans issue number 1. I like this issue. This issue I like. This is written by Marv Wolfman, who is really well known for writing a really good Teen Titan books. You got Donna and the rest of the Titans, you know. The dome already, I believe, has fallen, if I'm not mistaken. Or yes, after a couple of pages, you know, where they're dealing with crime in Gotham, and Cora is kind of losing herself a bit. You know, being trapped under a dome for a year definitely impacted her. The dome falls. And that's where the, I believe it was the Tangent Universe, if I'm not mistaken, Secret Six. Am I right? Yeah, the Tangent Universe is Secret Six, I believe, come to that Gotham. And you have the relationship between Nightwing and Core, a very major role happening in between what's going on in the book. And then they actually face off against them for the middle half of the book, which I like. There was a bit of a fight at least. You know, you had the Titans fighting to keep their city alive, and then you got the Tangent Universe people fighting to preserve their world. They escape, they leave, and then you got the Teen Titans figuring out what's going to happen next. And then I'm not going to spoil who in the opposite team, but one of them reaches out to Nightwing to try to figure things out peacefully instead of fighting to the death. However, the rest of the team doesn't feel that way. This was an excellent book. I loved the chemistry. I loved the mention of Doom Patrol. I loved Beast Boy. All the characters felt like they were really in line in this book. And I really just enjoyed it immensely. Left out a bunch of details on purpose because out of a lot of the books this week, I think from here on, most of my books are books that I would recommend from this week. So,
The Green Lantern Corps issue number 1. So in this one, it just focuses on, Guy Gardner. Like, he's been in a coma, after a year or so, and he's just saying, like everyone's just doing everything, like what was me, because he used to be like this hero. Like, he wants to be known out there, and he, and then he also tells about how he was with what's his name, like Hal Jordan. Like, he talks about him and how they really didn't get along with each other, looks like, and it's just more focused on him. Like, he's just mad at, especially when he took
the wedding.
Yeah, Kyle Farris.
Carol
Farris? Yeah. Away with them, and they do have a talk in this issue, and this was actually when the dome was there and when it was falling and everything, and he just wants to know like where Hal Jordan is, because he wants to have a talk with him, and things don't work out between the two. But after the whole message thing happened, Hal Jordan just knocks him out and just says, like, you nearly died because of me, so I'm going to take over that. But then Guy, I almost said Kyle. Guy Gardner actually says, well, if I can't have the ring, then I'm going to pursue it in a different way. And badassery is what I'm saying.
Guy Gardner was always like that.
Yeah.
The Flash Convergence. Barry has been under the dome for an entire year, cut off from, well, he calls it the Speed Force, but editorial didn't fix it. From what Jay says, back then Speed Force wasn't called Speed Force. He was just cut off from his powers, basically. And you see that he's just adapting to life under the dome for about a year. He's working with the Gotham, the GCPD. You see he's missing Iris and how he's not with her. You see him jogging, and he's just not as big. I love how he makes fun of himself. He's like, fastest man alive, my beep. And then, long story short, the dome falls. And I love how he is running, and then he notices his speed starts to pick up, and he just starts to celebrate. And I love how he's wearing the ring. He always wore the Flash ring, and he just jumps back into Flash mode. And it's just him trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And that's when, spoiler alert, Tangent Superman shows up.
Did I show artwork in Green Lantern?
Yes.
I did?
And I just thought this was a really good book. If you're a Barry Allen fan from back at this time, you will enjoy this book immensely. I loved it. I thought it was really great. Left out a bunch of dialogue on purpose. Definitely recommend The Flash out of a lot of the books this week for Convergence.
Okay, Wonder Woman issue number 1. And in Wonder Woman, it's more about Diana and Steve Trevor who are in this book, because they're in love with each other from what we saw. And she goes to this church with this old lady because she's suffering some conditions. And there's this special group that are trying to help her feel that power again, but she had like a tumor in her head, so she died after that. And then when the whole speech thing happened, she was just about to find out what happened. So they found out that she was Wonder Woman, or like a demon, so to say, and they keep her hostage while one of her friends go to get the authorities. Then there was like this thing over here where there was a hole in the sky of the dome. By the way, it all works pretty good, actually. Where they found out more information about Wonder Woman, how she actually got her powers back. I like how they get the powers back. But meanwhile, you get the Joker, Poison Ivy, and...
Yeah, that's from the Red Light universe where they're vampires.
Yeah, where these three are vampires, and then Wonder Woman tries to help Ada, but the Joker has her, so, yeah. Things don't look too well, so Wonder Woman's got a lot on her hands, especially for the next issue, and how she's going to do it, I have no idea, but it's going to be something.
Any fans of the events of Identity Crisis that weren't happy with what happened at Identity Crisis, pre-Identity Crisis, will love Justice League of America issue number 1, because the focal point is from Sue Divney's point of view. She's the inner voice for the whole book. And the dome's already fallen. By the first page, Elongated Man already has his powers back, and the Justice League Detroit team, basically, he has his makeshift. There's a makeshift Justice League team in this Gotham. Unfortunately, the original Justice League, the lead Justice League, is not in Gotham at this time. So Elongated Man brings the Justice League Detroit together, and they're going to basically defend the city against whatever comes their way. And that's when Aquaman and Gypsy and John Jones, they're trying to figure out what's going on the planet. And Aquaman and Gypsy actually reach out to the other cities, you know, to see what's going on. And that's where Zatanna shows up. Oh. And apparently, whoever is going against this Gotham, which we find out, tries to attack the Justice League Detroit first.
I thought Zatanna was Justice League Dark. I didn't know she was Justice League of America.
Before Justice League Dark even existed. The Justice League Dark came out with New 52. There never was a Justice League Dark until New 52.
So she was Justice League of America originally?
She was in Justice League, yeah.
Oh, I thought she was...
I didn't like some of the panels for the artwork. The artwork was mostly good, but there were times like this one with Zatanna where the lips and everything, yeah, it was crazy. So we find out that the Secret Six from an alternate world, I believe it's from... I believe it might be the Tangent Universe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but 99.9% I'm right that it's the Tangent Universe. They're basically the Justice League of America's opponent, and unfortunately the only ones left are Aquaman, John Jones, Gypsy, and I think that's about it. And Sue obviously still out there, but the rest of the Justice League is thought dead. That is, until the last page where they break out of the rubble and they're like, you want to mess with the Justice League? Well, we don't go down so easy, and that's where it's to be continued again. Really great issue. I enjoyed it. The artwork was really good. There were just certain panels that didn't really do justice to the Justice League of America book, but I would definitely recommend this. If you are a Elongated Man / Sue Dibney fan, you will love this issue. It was really good. I liked it. This was one of my favorite issues.
Hawkman, issue number 1. And it was heavy dialogue, I will say that much. And, you know, the dome has already fallen on them, and both
Shiera.
Yeah, Shiera, and why am I forgetting his name? Shiera and...
oh, I don't remember Hawkman's name.
I don't remember either. Like, it is mentioned, like there's like all these Man-Hawks that have been released, and they go off against them. I want to show some artwork with them. Yeah. Artwork was pretty good. So, I think Qatar, I think his name is, or something like that. So, you know, like, the fight was actually really something else, especially when he had to use lethal force, since they wouldn't comprehend with the fighting style. There are like some enforcers that they find out, and then here goes the speech once again, and let's just say that Hawkman just says, you know, it's all going to end anyway.
Yeah, it's right here, maybe.
What?
No, but
what?
Carter Hall. That's
yeah,
who.
Carter.
Carter Hall is why did that name leave my mind for some reason?
I don't know. But so at least one character probably figures out, you know, it's probably going to be the end, but there's going to be some way out of this. So
any fans of Crisis on Infinite Earths Supergirl is going to love this book. Adventures of Superman issue number 1. And I like this book especially because this book is the first book that thought outside the box. For a year, Superman, Supergirl, and Lucius Fox were working on making a Phantom Zone projector. So the purpose would be for Superman and Supergirl to go into the Phantom Zone, go through the Phantom Zone, and then escape outside the dome and figure out what to do from there. Basically to escape. And if they could escape, maybe that's how the rest of the world, the city, would escape. However, as they enter the Phantom Zone, the dome drops, and then Gotham gets attacked. However, Superman and Supergirl are trapped, or are in the Phantom Zone, so they don't know what's going on outside the Phantom Zone, and then they get attacked by a bunch of Kryptonians that were trapped in the Phantom Zone, mostly by Jor-El, way back in the day. And there's a scene where Supergirl gets, not trapped, but brought into this gas kind of, I don't know if they're like geysers or whatever, but they basically show her past present, and future. And in the future, it actually shows her own death, which is during Crisis on Infinite Earths. And at first she kind of is like, I don't want to say second guessing, but she's like trying to figure out a way to change it. But then she realizes that she died, and she prays that it was, to save. She died saving people instead of just dying for nothing. And then that's when she goes after Superman. She and Superman split to try to separate the Kryptonians, and unfortunately they all followed Superman, and then it's up to Kara to kind of save him. And she does, and they try to make it out of the Phantom Zone before it closes. However, unfortunately, let's just say things don't work out according to plan, and now Gotham is under attack by, I believe, it has to be from either Durville or it has to be Durville, because it looks like they're being attacked by the Ape, or maybe it's the Tangent Universe. I'm not sure, but I don't even know who's attacking Metropolis. But this was a really great issue. I enjoyed it. The artwork was but at the same time, actually, the artwork works perfectly for this time period, so I would actually say this was an excellent book all around. If you're a fan of Supergirl, though, like the definitive Supergirl, you are going to love this issue. I enjoyed it a lot. I liked that it thought outside the box, and finally they tried to break out of the dome before the dome fell. However, ironically, the dome did fall as they went into the Phantom Zone. But that was definitely something that none of the other universes thought, and I thought that made this book very unique. So if you are a fan of these characters, I would absolutely recommend. This was definitely my #1 favorite miniseries from this week. Guys, just give us 2 seconds, and then we will be right back at the click of a button with Michael's #1 favorite mini, and then Convergence #3 itself. Alright, we're back. All right. Mike, your #1 book.
That would be Batman and the Outsiders, issue #1.
That had excellent art, too.
This one was beautiful artwork, and the whole issue is Batman trying to find out, the dome has fallen, and he wants to find out who is behind all this, and he's really like just having a hard time finding out about it, and he just wants to do it for Gotham because they're like depending on him and everything. So we get like teams like Black Lightning who shows up. We have Dr. Tompkins with Katana and Gabrielle down there. We got Geoforce who shows up, and he's having his own good time. The only person that's just normal, who used to be Metamorpho, was Rex. And if you want to know who that character is, it's here. First of all, here's the beautiful artwork right there. And he hasn't become him ever since, everything else. So he's just saying, there's just so much going on, Alfred, like, there's just got to be a clue, and he just can't find it, and that's what's really bothering him. So it's been 1 year since the dome has been fallen on Gotham, and then when the message happened, you have Black Lightning, Geoforce, Batman, Gabrielle, and Metamorpho, who actually change into them, and we have this character also that comes in the end. Ormac. So, wow. That's really something else, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how all this is going to unfold in the last issue of this miniseries. Really great story. I was really amazed at that.
Now, while there were a lot of really good or average or bad, I think, no, this was an average and good week for the miniseries. How did Convergence 3 hold up? I don't know. I was a bit disappointed with it. It follows, again, Earth 2's heroes, led by Deimos, or I want to make sure I say his name right. Anyway, they're led by Deimos, and he's the only one that knows how to take Telos down. And you get nice action in there. I will say this. There was nice action with Val-Zod, Superman. And you have people that are actually looking to oppose Telos. And he actually shows up and says, if you don't fight, He actually shows up in Kandor and says, if you're not willing to fight, then you'll be eliminated.
No,
and
didn't he say disobey me and the earth will be destroyed?
Your
world.
city will be destroyed.
City, right. So that was the message.
Well, Nightwing and Flamebird actually fight against Telos. He says that, there's always a choice and we choose not to fight. So Nightwing is killed and so is Flamebird, and that's where Telos just destroys all of Kandor, and that whole city is gone. And background, I don't want to give away too much dialogue. You have the Earth 2 heroes minus Batman and Dick from Earth 2, Batman decides to stay behind, Dick decides to stay with Batman. I didn't like, again, the Avatar of the Red, I forget her name. She's too giddy for this moment. Batman shows up while they're fighting the robots that are keeping all the civilians inside the cities. And he destroys the Batmobile, but she's like, can I take it for a spin? And he's like, no, we basically damaged it beyond repair. It's like, that didn't have to be in it. But anyway, Batman knows that he was being followed, and he has no more Miraclo, so he can't be strong anymore. He's weak, and then it turns out that they're being followed by a bunch of Batman's rogues. And he's not strong enough to take them out, so he does a last-ditch effort kind of thing. What I didn't like, and I'm going to show it here, was Joker shows up and shoots Dick in the exact spot he shot Barbara, and now he can't feel his legs. However, Telos shows up and kills Joker, saying that he's a plague in every timeline. Wow. And then basically says to Dick, he's not going to kill him as long as Dick tells him where his friends are, because he can't find the Earth 2 superheroes now. Because they're underground. They went underground. I'm not going to say where they went, but if you saw the cover for this week's issue, you'll figure that out on your own. But, again, this is very... If you're a fan of Dick Grayson from Earth 2, you're going to like it. I like Batman from Earth 2. I didn't like what happened to him by the end of this issue, and I didn't like what happened to Dick by the end of this issue. Question is where Dick will go from there, where if Thomas Wayne survives, where he's going to go from there, and what the Earth 2 superheroes are going to find under Telos' planet. Again, though, I would have rather the series focused on what's going on in all these different cities, because all we're getting are two-part issues from all the cities, and then that's it. I would have liked this to have been like that general, what's going on all over the planet kind of book, and instead all we're getting are the Earth 2 superheroes trying to figure out a way to defeat Telos and free all the other cities. While I don't mind them being a focal point, put other things in there. I mean, they did with Flamebird and Nightwing from Kandor, and Kandor was destroyed because they wouldn't fight, but I want more than just one city. Throw a few things in that are happening at once, because we're only getting so many, and all the issue number 1s happened during issue 1 of Convergence, so 2, 3, and 4, our 4 is came out this week, and we're not, seeing what's gone on between issue 1 to 4 in all these other cities, and by the time we get to the issue 2s, that's it. That's the end. And it leads to the end of Convergence then. I'm hoping that with the next 4 issues of Convergence, or 5, because we still have one more here, with the next 5 issues, we get a little bit more insight on what's going on in all the cities also. That's my only concern. I feel like this was just an average read when it comes to Convergence number 3 this week. All in all, week 1 was great. Week 2 was okay. There were a couple of... It was good. Week 3, still keeping an average to good rating. Let's see how the final week of the number 1s go. This week, once we get them, we'll be reading them and reviewing them. Again, guys, sorry we're late. Tried to leave a bit of stuff out, so if you didn't read these books yet, you still have, you're able to, and we didn't spoil too much. As always, don't forget to check out Comic-Related, Comic Frontline Zone 4 Podcast, and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together, we are your number 1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. This Friday will be Dark Avenger Live, as well as the haul video. I've got humongous hauls now. I've just got to cover a few things before doing the humongous haul videos, and those will be on Frontline. We've got lots of Mystery Box Mayhem videos going up on Frontline all the way until, I believe, Friday. Lots of awesome stuff coming after Convergence and at least halfway through Secret Wars for Marvel. So look forward to all of that. And until next time, everybody, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting. I'll see you guys, or we'll see you guys, in the next review.
Later, everybody.